The views and opinions expressed on the following program may not necessarily reflect the views of the staff, management, or board of Hope Media Group and KSBJ. It's what's happening around us, in our town, suburb, city, in our community. It's Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Well, hello and welcome to Community Beat, where we're keeping you tuned in to the topics that are impacting our local communities and helping them thrive. I'm your host, Kim Kasi McKee, and today we'll be talking about an organization that is coming alongside some men and women who are in need of recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. Our guest today is Nick Long. Nick is the founder and executive director of Sharpen Recovery. Good morning, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us.
So glad to be here.
Nick is married to his wife, Madison, and they are expecting their first child. Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you. We're about halfway through.
Oh, so excited for you all. And Nick is also a native Houstonian. So Nick, tell us, we can't wait to hear more about Sharpen Recovery, even beginning with the name. How did you come to name your organization Sharpen? And just a little bit about your own journey to founding this organization. I mean, after all, you've only been on this earth for about 29 years, but boy, are you maximizing your time and doing some great things. So tell us about Sharpen.
You know, my story is actually pretty special, I believe, and like so many others in their story in recovery, one where I was headed down the wrong direction, and the Lord just came in and turned that direction towards himself. Really what happened was I just started getting afraid of everything that I was doing when I was living a life of destruction. I was, living wild with addiction to substances, and my parents didn't know where I was. I was, abusing anything I can get my hands on. And, everything that I was taught to value growing up was just set aside as I was a slave to the substances and living dark. And just, it was, and I had no plans to change that direction, but the Lord came in and I just started to get afraid of everything that I was doing. By His grace, I was afraid of the wrong direction and just basically started pouring out the drugs and just wearing my seatbelt. I wanted to do the right thing at that time.
I can imagine the prayers that your parents and others who knew and loved you were praying, that brought you to that point of surrender.
So thankful for the faithfulness of God to bring that transformation in that just time. That was in 2015. It took me a minute to figure out that voice that was leading me to do the right thing and be kind of afraid of doing the wrong thing. It took me a while to figure out that was actually the Lord. Okay. And so when I discovered that, I was just rejoicing in the scriptures and, got to live with somebody for 3 years and basically walked through a discipleship with him, got to see how he spent time with God.
That was awesome.
And make sense of my own journey. And it was an amazing period of time.
How did you transition from this new walk of faith to now having a burden that is so passionate that it would lead you to starting a whole organization to help other people? Was that something you ever imagined you would do?
Didn't seem like my plans were headed anywhere productive, but what ended up happening was I was journaling and spending time with God and just really trying to get to know Him. And it was in that time where I was just pursuing Him that He just put it on my heart so clearly. This was an assignment of mine. And I, at that point, was rooted in recovery from my own life and the Lord from my own life. And the assignment was clear. I knew the name of the organization. I knew the logo for the organization. And I knew the vision for the service. And I didn't know anything else. But I took the next right move again and again, kept learning from people around me, different leaders of these types of recovery programs, and just really wanted to learn how to make this vision a reality. It actually took 3 years before we were, from vision to it hitting the ground. And I'll tell you that I wanted it to happen day one.
Of course.
But it took, I think the Lord needed to grow me up. In that time, there was a lot of praying, a lot of learning, a lot of growing personally. Where Sharpen is today is definitely exceeds that initial vision for the organization that I had in mind then. Kind of getting to the place where we're at now has been a process of just continuing to, everything that's ever been good in my life has been through just pursuing the Lord, and in Him are all good things. And
wow. That is awesome. I love what you said, that everything that has been good that has happened in your life has come as a result of pursuing God. That's really great. So Sharpen, that name, where did that name come from? I know you said that God gave it to you, but just kind of unpack that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was, in that season I was really soaking in the scriptures, and particularly the proverb that talks about, as iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. And I think that was in my, my heart's library as the Lord just kind of gave me the clarity on the name. There was never a time of doubt or question about what the name was supposed to be. It was.
So talk a little bit about your services. What does your the model for your services look like? A person comes to you who that is in need of recovery. What are some of your programs and services that you offer?
In these homes, as we all know, substance abuse does not discriminate. It comes, people have it in everywhere you go. They say
every community is impacted.
From Park Bench to Park Avenue, they say, and so we get calls from some of the nicest treatment centers in the city. We get calls from the homeless person living on the street, and everybody can relate around their substance abuse and the challenges that they're having. And they're calling us and they're wanting to change. They're wanting to do something about stopping. And they want to live in a place where they're held accountable to maintaining sobriety, and they know that their life is dependent on it. With that, we've really put a machine together in terms of our homes and how they operate to serve that person who does come to our homes. We have house managers that live there. We have full-time staff that oversees those house managers. We have systems in place for drug testing and reporting. They're required to go to a certain amount of recovery meetings. They have individual recovery plans. They have house meetings. They meet all together. There's multiple homes, so they all gather together once a week and get to fellowship with other Sharpen participants at different houses and get to grow their recovery capital by getting to know the others who are walking this journey with them. There's so much beauty that takes place when individuals come together who have a common desire and goal and are able to just hold each other accountable.
So talk a little bit about that model of a home per se. There sometimes you might hear of an apartment complex, where people are in recovery, or an outpatient type situation. But you literally, it sounds as though you're describing a freestanding home where X number of people can live in community. So talk about why that model.
We find it works really well to have a home be like a home. And a lot of these people are coming to live in our homes, and these are the nicest homes they've ever been in. We partner with an organization called Finishing Touch Ministries that furnishes our houses, and they make it look so beautiful, and the people get to really just feel like it's home when they come and live with us. We're open to there being a apartment complex type of housing or other types of creative ways housing individuals, but it has worked really well to have them be home-like structures for our participants.
Okay. So you mentioned, it sounds like you have more than one home. And are they all in one place, or are they spread throughout the community? or throughout the city?
Our houses are located in 3 different counties within the greater Houston area. There's 15 houses as of today. There's 14 that are currently up and operating, and 1 we actually just signed a lease on a couple days ago.
Congratulations.
We're looking
That's
forward
awesome.
to getting into that house that's in Sugar Land, but there's homes in Fort Bend County, Galveston County, Harris County, east side of town, west side of town. As we know, people have jobs, different places throughout the city where a lot of times it's strategic for the participant to be close to the job, close to family, further from family, new start, or wherever it may be. We have options. So 44% of the people that come to Sharpen are from treatment centers.
Okay.
And so they come to us to extend the time of accountability in their lives.
Okay.
And they're saying yes to additional accountability. We find that relapse rates go down significantly where there is an extended period of time in recovery housing.
So tell me, what are some of the types of activities that the people who are in your homes might be involved in? Because I imagine there's some structured programs that they're going through.
Yes. And, at Sharpen Recovery, there's a lot of freedom and there's a lot of accountability.
Okay.
And we love to kind of navigate where that is most appropriate for our participants. And so most of them come in without jobs. 75% actually come in who are unemployed. 50% come in who are not able to pay $1 coming in. And we have been just fighting and working to create a way to bring these people in and say yes to them.
Okay.
And a lot of the phone calls that we get are coming from other places that can't receive these individuals because of those financial limitations that they may have,
Okay.
or geographical needs that they may have. The individuals who live at Sharpen, a lot of times they're starting to work full-time jobs, getting jobs quick. They're going to recovery meetings throughout the week. They are coming home. They're meeting curfew. They're eating dinner with each other. It happens naturally how they get to share resources with one another. Hey, I got a job over here. Maybe you want to come and apply to this job over here that I just got that I love, or go to this recovery meeting with me, as this one has been really helpful for me. They're working with their sponsors throughout the week. They are attending the house meetings, where at the house meeting is a time where they're able to connect with all the members of that particular house and kind of go over the things like, how they're doing on the IRP goals that they've set. They're able to just talk through any house related announcements and just get to really drive the culture deep into the house through that time, where we're able to infuse our Sharpen shots, which is a combination of a 12-step and scripture combined that's kind of shot into that house meeting for the benefit of the participants, along with a Sharpen skill, which is a life skill infused into that house meeting, where they're learning things that may be very simple to some, but others have never learned in their lives, like grocery shopping and healthy nutrition and, time management. Other times throughout the week, they're going to church. They're connecting at the multi-house gathering on Wednesday nights. We love our Wednesday nights. It's another time where we get to really build the culture of Sharpen, where you have typically over 50 participants from the different houses that are attending those Wednesday nights. And that's when we have what's called Sharpen Studies oftentimes. And Sharpen Studies is a longer version of the Sharpen Shot, where that 12-step and scripture combination is, we build a whole meeting around the scriptures and the 12 steps. And we get to share how the Lord and the Word of God just really does relate with this program of recovery that they're required to work throughout the other days of the week.
So what do you consider an ideal candidate? Like, is there a particular age group? What might be some of the criteria for consideration for a person who wants to access your services?
We have houses for men. We have houses for women. There's 3 houses right now for women, and the rest are for men.
Okay.
And we really love that gift of desperation. If somebody truly has a desire to change the way that they've been living, is when an individual acknowledges that they have a problem with drugs and alcohol and they want to do something about it, and they want to stay sober. 18 to, we've had people over 60 years old. We've had people with high paying jobs, people with no job at all.
some are married and are going to commit to staying for 2 months and then move back maybe with their wife after things have become more stable for them in recovery. Some are rebuilding their life back from the ground up.
It looks like a mosaic, kind of more like the community. It could be a person, regardless of their economic status, it crosses all boundaries. But it seems that everyone is united by their desire to want to lead a sober life, which is very admirable. So how do you utilize volunteers? What are some ways that the community can support the mission of Sharpen Recovery?
Ask for your prayers. We do want to grow to about 30 houses in Houston in the next 5 years. Know that our work will have just begun when that's the case as well. Need houses. We need vehicles. There are ways that the community engages with our participants through our Wednesday nights. We have food and a time of fellowship with all those houses. And so we'd love for volunteers to bring food and get to just be there and be a part of that Wednesday night. A lot of times, particularly the recovery community surrounds themselves around our participants through just bringing them through the 12 steps. Each of the participants in each of our houses has a sponsor that they work the steps with, and they're able to intentionally allocate time to that recovery process. There's so many different creative ways that volunteers can get engaged with Sharpen Recovery. We'd love to connect and determine, what skill sets those volunteers may have or interests, and just find out how to collaborate to further the mission.
Awesome. Do you have maybe a success story that you could share about someone who has come through your program successfully and they're just kind of navigating through the next phase of their life?
We have what's called Sharpen You, and that's a process where we bring our prospective leaders through, and we're basically create this funnel for house managers where we're able to bring them through this training, where they're able to, we've already identified them as people that are aligning with the values of Sharpen. They're taking their recovery seriously. They're taking their walk with the Lord seriously, and they've been identified by one of our leaders. And so they go through this process called Sharpen You. Sharpen You, these individuals get placed into house management positions. We always have leaders ready to go. Like, for instance, this house in Sugarland, that'll open up on the 28th of October, and we'll have a house manager ready to go for that role. And what's amazing is that the house managers come in like the other participants come in. They come in desperate, in need of help for themselves. Then they stick around, they connect with the community, and just their life gets put back together, so much so that now they have something to offer others. And so they're stepping into a role where they're intentionally getting to just engage positively with others and make a difference in the lives of those that are coming in just like they did. So there's dozens of those individuals in our program who live there now that are, have been transformed by being with us and just the faithfulness of God in their lives. They are giving back. A lot of them move out of Sharpen successfully. They'll buy a house, buy a car, save money while they're with us. They'll reconnect with their children, reconnect with their spouses. So many different testimonies.
How can we be praying for Sharpen Recovery in the days ahead, based on what's on the things that are on your heart, are on the horizon for Sharpen?
So as we grow, we're going places we've never gone before, and we love that because we get to navigate this mysterious new waters. But in that, it's just a time where we just need God to be close and lead us in every detail of our organization. And so we just would request prayers for just the entire organization, that we would operate in a way that creates quality care as we grow. We just get even stronger and better with our systems in place for quality as we grow. That, the Lord would just bless our team and just give us unity and just continue to make a difference in the lives of those we serve so that their lives can be changed and serve others. And that's what we've seen happen, what we really want to see happen more. And, we're thankful for other organizations to learn from as well. There's this organization in Oklahoma. It's called Hope is Alive, that we got to learn from a lot from them. They have 25 plus houses up in Oklahoma, and they are multiplying recovery houses. And we got to go up there last year and spend a weekend with them taking notes. And there just needs to be more organizations that are growing and scaling these recovery houses.
So, Nick, are there any networks for organizations like Sharpen Recovery?
We've gotten to start what's called the Houston Recovery Residents Network. What that is a collaborative recovery housing organizations in the city of Houston. And so each of the quarterly gatherings, there's 50 to 70 leaders of recovery houses in the city of Houston. And so in that time, we're able to bring value, and we're able to basically see the standard of care rise as we're considering how we can raise the standard of care, considering how we can collaborate with one another to serve those with substance abuse addiction in the city. What we've been learning and doing at Sharpen Recovery has not only impacted the individuals that are in our homes, but we're getting to share and coordinate, bringing value to other organizations in the city that serve the same people that we serve.
So, Nick, tell us, how are you funded?
50% of our budget essentially comes from the program fees that our participants pay. And the other 50% comes from donations.
And of those donations, we're supported by individuals who donate. We're supported by foundations. Thankful for the Stoller Foundation, who actually was instrumental in coordinating this interview today. Stoller Foundation has really just been an investor in our work, and it has created extreme fruitfulness, and we are so grateful.
Is there a limit on how long someone can stay on your campus or in one of your houses?
We don't necessarily celebrate somebody staying 1 year over somebody staying 4 months, and that's just because people come in who have all different needs. Like we were saying a minute ago, there's somebody that comes in who doesn't have anything to their name, and they're needing to rebuild everything back from scratch. And so they may be there a little bit longer. Somebody might come in who has made a commitment to their wife that they're going to stay for, 3 months or so, and to get back on their feet. People come and they can take advantage of our services as long as it's needed for them. And we get to kind of navigate that with them and come alongside them in those decisions that they make to step away from Sharpen for growth in their lives, or to continue with us longer to, build more rhythms for recovery into their life. While 50% of our budget is supplied by the program fees that our participants pay, and the other 50% historically has been through financial contributions from donors, foundations, etc. We want to be sustainable and depend less and less on donors as we grow. Strategizing on how that's possible, we've considered what our assets are. Assets are our people. We have people that need jobs. We have people that are with us that can work and are great workers and are committed to this life of recovery and stability and living right. We're set up to offer moving services. We have our people living in our houses, and they are available. We are set up, ready to roll, to move houses, move your furniture, and provide the service. All of the profits go towards sustaining the recovery housing operation in this organization. It provides work for our people and revenue for our organization to sustain. And so if anybody needs moving services, hire Sharpen Recovery. They can call us at the number on our website. That's 832-709-2373 and inquire about our moving services. Our participants are waiting to help you move, and we are eager to put them to work in a way that generates revenue for Sharpen Recovery, for its sustainability, for its growing in city of Houston and beyond.
So we want to say thanks to Nick Long, who has been with us today. He is the founder and the Executive Director of Sharpen Recovery. Thank you for joining us, Nick.
Thank you.
And as always, thank you to our wonderful audience for joining us. And we hope you'll join us again next week. To learn more about Sharpen Recovery, visit sharpenrecovery.org.
Thanks for joining us for Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee. Join us every Saturday morning at 5:30 on 89.3 KSBJ.